Hello, welcome to the latest video from Last Bell Boxing. Today we're going to cover the topic of British boxing promoters. So a little disclaimer before we carry on, we're not going to cover every single boxer from the stables of Hearn, Shalom and Warren. We're just going to give a flavour and give our thoughts on where we think they're going as a company and as a promotional outfit. So Andy, I'll let you pick which one you want to go for first and then you can take it away.
Right, okay. So let's start with the obvious one, Eddie Hearn. He's in a very lucky position in my opinion, in that he had his stable built from his days with Sky. He took all of his fighters with him. A few of them have jumped ship and gone to Boxer, but as a rule, the majority of them have stayed with him. How long that's going to last is another matter, because he's still not putting certain fighters out there. We've spoke about this on other videos, so I won't cover it again. But I think Eddie Hearn's still got the best stable of fighters, and that's purely because he had them from his time when he was with Sky.
And the back kid.
Yeah, well, that obviously helps as well. But how long does that last? At what point does that price, that $7.99 or $8.99 price, stay? He's come out today on an interview and said Canelo's going to be on pay-per-view, but not in the UK. So the UK price stands as it is. You'll get the Canelo fight for the price that you're paying per month.
I mean, another thing that he said that was quite interesting on a recent interview was DAZN decided not to put out their figures from a fight night for some reason. Frank Warren was going in on DAZN a little bit by saying he suspects their UK subscription numbers be nowhere near BT's.
Yeah.
Hearn obviously is going to defend that, but defended that and says he's asked DAZN to make the subscription figures public so people can have a true reflection of where DAZN are. Because obviously there's a lot of rumours circulating, isn't there, about losing money and, not where they need to be. Hearn was quite defiant, saying, no, we are where we need to be. I know he's obviously going to say that, but it'd be very interesting if these figures do get released.
They won't. Because it puts DAZN in a very vulnerable position. No matter what they do, if they release those figures, they're going to slate them for whatever those figures are. They'll say they should be loads better than they are. I'm of a similar opinion to Warren in some aspects. He won't have taken all of the market from Sky.
No.
Because a lot of the Sky's market is casuals.
Yeah, and the true acid test is Anthony Joshua. I've not seen no announcement today that says he's joined DAZN as of yet, and that's been up in the air for a while now. So what is it that's holding him back?
I think the fact that Joshua's not going to fight. They don't need to announce anything, do they? As soon as I mean, apparently, according to Eddie Hearn, it all hinges on a conversation that he's going, or a decision that's going to be made this week by Alexander Usyk. Apparently, Lomachenko's already come out and said he's definitely not going to be fighting Kambosos as agreed. He's staying, obviously. Yeah. Of course, he's staying, and Usyk's going to do the same thing, and quite rightly so.
You reckon he might not, though?
No, he will. No, he will, mate. He will. He will, because it won't look. It won't look good. It won't look good if you don't. And he's not going to leave his mate there. They're so close, them two. No, he'll definitely. He'll stay until it's done, mate. They're very patriotic, the pair of them, and I give nothing but respect to them for it.
Yeah.
I don't see the Joshua Usyk fight happening. They were wanting it for June, July. It won't happen in June or July, mate. I'd be very surprised. It'll be the end of the year. So Joshua will need an interim fight, at which point a decision will have to be made. Does he go back to Sky on pay-per-view, or does he go with DAZN? And at that point, does Eddie Hearn turn around and say, sorry, guys, this is pay-per-view?
Undoubtedly. He'll be pay-per-view.
Yeah,
undoubtedly.
That'll be the only way that Joshua goes to DAZN, is if he's promised a pay-per-view. And the great percentage of those pay-per-view buys
Well, they reckon the worst kept secret in boxing is if AJ does go to DAZN, they're going to offer a subsidised discount to DAZN viewers for the pay-per-views. Well, I'm not sure that will cut it, to be honest.
No, I don't think it does either. I mean, to be honest with you, it makes no odds to Joshua whether it's on pay-per-view or not if they're going to pay him.
No.
The question is, can they afford 20, 30, 40 million?
Without a pay-per-view model?
Yeah. Whether it is a one fight off or not. I don't know. It's a big deal, in my opinion, though, if DAZN don't get him. That's a big...
It's a big message to the market, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we both agree that DAZN have got the strongest stable as we speak.
At present, yeah.
So they should have. So they should have. But I do think there's little chinks in the armour that's coming around where, like, I know he's not a massive name, but people like Marku, who Hearn was building to have a big fight in Albania and was looking at the tickets, he's gone. So interesting times. So moving on to Warren then. So obviously Frank Warren's got the jewel to the crown, which is Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, Anthony Yard, Callum Johnson, Zach Parker, Hamza Sharif. One thing Warren has got is got all different levels of British boxing.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think what I know we've gone in on Warren on some shows, but I think personally he's doing quite a good job with some of his fights. If you think about Zach Parker, if you think about winning bids for Fury, I know Bob Arum was in the background, but he still won the bid. So I think Warren's in a very healthy place. I think his stable's coming along. So it depends how much BT you want to continue to back him.
What Warren does really well is he gets 2 or 3 or 4 fighters in the same division, and he builds those fights, those British fights between the 2 fighters, and he builds them to the point where Yard against Arthur, for example, is a perfect example. They're both on fringe world title. Yard had obviously already fought for one, but they're both fringe world title, and it gets built as though the winner gets a world title shot, which is basically what's happened. That was for the mandatory WBO spot, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, he's pulled that master stroke, hasn't he? The winner of that fight with Smith Jr.
Yeah,
he's coming to the UK.
Fantastic. Well, what Frank Warren has over Eddie Hearn is experience. Eddie Hearn, he's come out a couple of times in the last week or so, and it's firing back at Warren for Warren's comments about DAZN. He's come out saying that Frank Warren's losing his mind. He needs to calm down. He's nearly 80. Blah 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 blah. What Frank Warren has is years and years of experience, but not only that, he's got years and years of contacts. He's built really good communication with the likes of Top Rank. Well,
Hearn's alienated himself in some aspects, hasn't he? Where Warren has got a long-standing relationship with the Richard Schaefers of this world, the Bob Arons of this world, and they clearly don't like doing business with Hearn. That's the truth.
No, they purposely don't do business with Eddie Hearn because of how he's been. I mean, in my opinion, when he was with Sky, he was the best promoter in the world.
Yeah.
And as far as building a fighter, as far as building a show, as far as pushing the show to where it needs to be, he's still that. But he's in a position now where he's on a platform that doesn't have the eyes on it that he needs for that.
I mean, he tried to sell the other day. I know it's just about Warren, but he tried to sell the other day that Buatsi versus Richards is a world-class fight. If Warren put that fight on, we'd be asking questions if he was calling it a world-class fight, wouldn't we?
It is a good fight. It is a good fight.
It's not a world-class fight, though, is it? It's a good domestic fight.
In my opinion, it's the same level as Yard Arthur.
Yeah, which again, I would argue is a good domestic fight.
Yeah. It's fringe world level, isn't it? And the likelihood is the winner of that goes on to close to being mandatory spot. but there's no guarantee. Eddie Hearn's not come out and said
No.
this is a final eliminator. You know, he hasn't made that. So that, for me, that's what built the Yard Arthur fight to that next level, was that it was for a final eliminator spot. It is a very good fight, though. And what makes it even better is they're both from the same area. But back to Frank Warren. Does he struggle a little bit when it comes to the media side of things? I think he does a little bit, and that's maybe his age. He doesn't. Eddie Hearn's he's some sort of a photographic memory, because the way he reels things off, fights, cards, and it's exceptional that he has. You know, he has no prompts, he has no bits of paper, he's not reading nothing. You can't. Not everyone can do what he does the way he does it.
One thing I would say though is, if you talk about show production, I still think DAZN have got some way to go. Sky Sports is still clearly the best production team around. He's not been able to replicate that on DAZN. So as much as he's strong at the front, fight nights, I think there's still got a way to go regarding the TV production.
I think he's got a little bit of way to go regards quality of undercard as well.
Yeah.
But I think they're all struggling with undercards at the minute, mate. You know, we've slated Frank Warren in the past for having poor undercards. We're doing the same with Eddie Hearn at the minute. I think the boxing world is kind of, the UK market anyway, is kind of being spread a little thin. Now you've got these two big three, all vying for airtime, all vying to get the biggest fights on. The problem is, and we'll go on to Ben Shalom in a minute, but what Ben Shalom's found out is, if you want to put a pay-per-view fight on, you're giving the majority of the money to the main fight. Yeah. The two headliners, Brooke Khan, and it doesn't leave you a lot for the undercard. So he's actually come out in recent times and said he's going to concentrate more now on putting a better complete card on.
It'll be interesting on the 21st when you've got Barker, Andrade, and you've got Buatsi versus.
Yeah, that annoys me a little bit, but unfortunately, there's only so many fight weeks in the year. You're going to get
that from a commercial aspect as well. From a commercial aspect, I'll be interested to see. You know, I know DAZN won't release it, but I tend to lean towards a Frank Warren card for that one. I'm not sure. I know very London centric for the Richards fight, and very East Midlands may get a bit more of a reach because obviously Andre's he's a name in America. So out of the two fights, which one do you think is the biggest fight? Close.
Well, from a UK point of view, the Buatsi fight's a bigger fight because they're both British fighters at fringe world level. From a global point of view, and for what it means for the winner, then the Parker fight against Andre by a country mile.
I think where Eddie Hearn's got it wrong is nobody cares about Buatsi Richards outside of London. I don't think they care more than Zach Parker versus Andre. I think a lot of the casuals, let's call them casuals, will actually tune into the BT Sport card because there's a world title on the line at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean that's not being made as pay-per-view either, is it?
No.
If it's not pay-per-view, then BT will definitely take the viewing figures. Yeah, I mean it might hinge on how good the undercards are.
Yeah, because they're not the greatest salespeople either. What Richards and Buatsi aren't the greatest talkers either, are they? So Hearn's got a job on there selling that fight. They're
also very friendly, mate. They were both on TalkSport at the start of this week. I don't know if you saw it. They had them both in the studio, mate, and they were like best mates.
Yeah. Well, that don't. I know we don't want to see fake needle.
No,
but that don't help either.
A little bit of an edge though. It builds, don't it? And it builds the atmosphere. It builds the anticipation. They've got a lot of respect for each other because they live around the corner from each other, basically.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of grew up in each other's shadow, and it's nice having that respect, but it is for a fan point of view, you know, a viewing point of view, it helps to have a bit of needle.
So to conclude, Warren, I think he's doing a good job with the budget he's got. I think he's got an half decent stable, and I think he's got quite a few potential stars now. Whether they leave when they build a profile, I don't know. But I think he could be in for a good 12 months, Warren. He could have a couple of more world champions.
We've not even touched on the fact that Frank Warren just won 2 gigantic
Purse bids
against Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a massive blow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. So that leaves Ben Shalom.
Interesting one, Ben Shalom. I really like. He's really grown on me, Ben Shalom. He's very honest. He'll come out and speak to anybody about anything. He don't dodge any questions. He had a real tough situation on his hands with Brook and Khan. A lot of what we didn't see as the public backstage, because that really didn't happen right at the very last minute, and he was running around backstage sorting it out. He did great to get the fight on in the first place because the other broadcasters didn't get it. I think he's growing to be a very, very good promoter, and I think you're going to see some fantastic British level quality fights.
I think from my aspect though, unfairly, I judge him against Eddie Hearn in front of the camera. He's got a long, long way to go to be anywhere near the showmanship that Eddie Hearn's got.
Yeah, but that's unfair to do that.
I said it was unfair, but I think Eddie Hearn set the benchmark in terms of selling a fight.
Yeah, but I mean, no one else in the world does it like Eddie Hearn, mate. It's so. Yeah, I don't think anybody is ever going to get to that. It's just the way he is, mate. He's just a salesman. It's just the way he is. But Ben Shalom, he comes across to me as being a very straight, honest guy. There's no airs and graces. You know, sometimes he comes across a little bit shy, which is nice to see because he's not brash. It makes a difference.
You've still got to be able to sell though, haven't you? Because including the title is a promoter.
Yeah,
so
I know that.
I'd still want to see that salesperson side of it. Even Warren slots into it now and again, where he's still got to be able to push his fighters.
You don't have to be an arsehole about it though, does it?
No one's saying being an arsehole, but I think he's got to be able to sell the product.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think he is doing slowly but surely. It's probably not been his strong point in the past because he's not been on a platform of Sky's level, has he? Not to the degree that he is now. He's had those boxer, kind of boxer shows, the 3 minute, three round 3 minute fights. He's had that on before, but he's never had to kind of push it as the main promoter. I think he's doing a great job considering.
I just think if he's not careful, he'll get it alive a little bit. That's it. That's my only concern. He'll learn on the job, obviously, any young lad. But I'd just like to see him. He's better than he was, but a bit more confident and a bit more forthright. I'm not saying be an arsehole about it. That's way out there. But he's got to demonstrate confidence in his stable.
Yeah. Interestingly, this weekend you've got 2 cards going up against each other, aren't you? Yeah. You got the DAZN card, and boxer Richard Riakporhe, which is at the same level as the DAZN card for me. The DAZN card's brilliant this week.
I mean, what a great job they're doing, Richard Riakporhe. What a great job they're doing because nobody knew who he was. Let's be honest. And all of a sudden now, with the Sky vehicle that we talk about often on this show, his profile's going through the roof. Caroline Dubois, another one. Profile going through the roof. Savannah Marshall, a lot more people know who she is now than before. And I'll give him his props for strategy because you get Clarissa Shields onto the platform as well. What a great move that is, because that fight naturally going to happen now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, and what a way to build it, having Savannah up in her face when she gets out of the ring. That's just masterstroke. That is. He didn't have to do anything, Ben Shalom. He just stood back and let him go for it.
Yeah. So, I think his stable's coming along. Then he's got. I mean, he's aiming at all levels of British boxing. He's got Ebony Jones, hasn't he? So interesting times. I think that Sky will continue to back him. Hopefully, give him a bit more of a budget, and I think he can do a job. I think he can. Whether he pushes Eddie Hearn's another story, but who knows where DAZN are going.
No.
So yeah, I'll suggest he probably just carries on doing what he's doing. Whether he's always going to be the face of Boxer, I'm not so sure. I think they may bring someone who's a bit more of a salesperson eventually down the line, but he might develop into that. I don't know. Might be being a bit harsh.
I think he'll grow into it. I think he'll grow into it, mate. He's going to be absolutely fine. He's doing a great job for me. Yeah, and it's going to be good to see how the cards go from now on. Because he has been. What I like about him is he's come out and he's been honest. He's been honest about budget. He's been honest about the fact that he hasn't been able to make as strong an undercard as he's wanted to because the budget's not been there for the fighters. He hasn't been able to bring the fighters in to match up against his fighters to make them more 50-50 fights. He's been completely honest about that.
I just think the British boxing public are giving him a bit of goodwill at the minute, but eventually they're gonna, that goodwill runs out, don't it?
But like I've said, mate, it's not just Sky and Boxer that are doing this. The undercards on a lot of shows at the minute are not the best. And whether that's down to budget, whether that's down to the fact that there's 3 promoters and they're all vying for strong opponents for their up and coming stars. Who knows?
I mean, I tweeted this the other day, but one bit of advice for Ben Shalom, if I'm in a position to give it him, Jesus Christ, get Andy Clark and Paul Smith Jr. on your commentary team, because that was brilliant on Parabellum. It just smacked me of Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, where they'd have an argument, but it was all respectful. But the knowledge from Paul Smith Jr. and Andy Clark was something else. I know that's not boxing related, but I just thought I'd throw that in there.
I agree with you, mate. In my opinion, the best 2 in the country, the best 2 on any broadcast at the minute. You normally get one decent broadcaster, and then someone else slots in. It happens on DAZN quite a bit. They flip it about, don't they? They have Darren Barker early on, and then you get a different commentary set up a bit later. It just it's a bit off. It don't flow, and I don't. The chemistry with Paul Smith and Andy Clark is just great.
Yeah,
it's effortless. That's the way I'd put it. It's effortless.
Yeah.
You're not trying to make out anything that it's not.
And they're not trying to get one over on each other to prove who knows the most.
No, I tell you what it is. It's like they sat there with obviously a bit more knowledge and the way they put things across. But it's like they sat there watching it together in front of a telly at home. That's kind of the feeling that I get. It's so natural and so easygoing. But I tell you what they do as well. There's no bias there.
No, there's no partisan. They're not partisan to the broadcaster's fighter, are they? And that was really refreshing.
Very, very, very good.
It's just a bit where we've had Andy Clark on the show and we've had Paul Smith on the show twice. And if you want to see them videos, check our content out. Just for getting there, and
yeah, nice one, mate.
So I think that'll do it for this. So as ever, we go live Thursday at 7 p.m. Like, comment, subscribe. Agree or disagree with me and don't bother going on Twitter. Post your comments below and we'll respond to you. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, Ander.
Cheers, mate.